Welcome to the Sandler Training Hour. I'm Jason Stevens. This week, again, Jim's taking the week off recovering, but in the meantime, I thought I'd take some time to talk a little bit about why it's important to go looking for trouble in a sales call and what I mean by that. And typically, when it comes to a sales call, our default is to play it safe and to avoid unnecessary risks in the conversation. But relationships are built out of conflict. The people we're closest to are people that we are capable of having hard conversations with and asking tough questions to. And in sales, the same is true. And when you think about what looking for trouble looks like, well, you know what trouble looks like in your sales opportunities. You know what it looks like when someone is playing their cards to their chest. You know what the consequences of them doing that is. When they hide information from you, you know what that does downstream to your team and to your chances of closing. And so hard questions then become the antidote to the games that prospects play with you in calls. I don't know your industry, but in sales, I know that the default of most prospects are they enter into the conversation with the understanding that they're interacting with a salesperson. And because they're starting with a stereotype, their defensive walls are up. They're excited. They're happy to talk about it. They love getting the information that will make them feel like they've solved their issue. But listen, if information was enough, we'd all be wealthy and healthy. But we also know that with information, the more of it that you get, the easier it is to think that you can fix something on your own. So we're always playing this game in our calls where we're trying to ask a good ratio of questions to giving information to let the person know that we're talking to, that we have competence enough to solve their issue without going overboard and making them feel empowered to solve their own to solve their issue on their own. So when you think about your sales process, I think it's exceptionally important to make sure that in every conversation that you're having, you're asking at least one challenging question, which you can look back to and point to and say, that question is the one that is going to raise my equal business stature with my counterpart. And if you're not too familiar with Sandler, that's a term word, easy to look it up, but the general concept is that if you're in a transactional relationship, the stereotype remains strong. They will treat you like it is a transaction, and they will treat you like you are the transaction. And in that realm, it's hard to maintain equality. And without equality, people will treat us the way that they think they're justified to treat us. One of our Sandler rules on that is as a sales professional, it's your right to be treated like a professional. And if you're not being treated like a professional, chances are it's because of something that you did in the process that told them it was okay to treat you the way that they're treating you. And again, the antidote to this is look for trouble. And trouble looks like when you're pushing back, when you're creating the tension in any given conversation. Trouble and looking for trouble is when you know that there is going to be an obstruction and that they're hiding from it and that we need to get to the truth or the heart of the matter in order to move forward. A lot of people might default to money, to talking about budget. When someone says, I don't know, you're the expert, what is it going to cost? Well, we know that we're going to get into trouble there because they're baiting us into a trap, and us being an expert in the cost of the thing that we provide isn't the same as them knowing what they're willing to invest in it. And if we don't have enough equal business stature in the conversation, then it pits us into the further category of them saying some version of, well, I'm really just hoping to get 3 or 4 bids so that I can figure out what the best thing to do in this situation is. And I think that's another risk as well. When it comes to bids, at the end of the day, if you're looking at 4 numbers, you're trying to look at everything as if they are all apples. And in fact, fruits are different. And so the value that we offer is in what we bring to the relationship through questions. And hard questions probe to the core of why someone would want to change what they are doing now. and why it would be useful for it to be a different status quo than it is. In order to get there, we have to have a firm understanding of what are the consequences around all of this. And beyond the business reasons why someone would do something or the personal reasons why someone would do something, the people that we're engaging with reached out to us for a reason. Something's going on in their world that prompted the conversation. If you take something like a changing software, like no one wakes up in the morning and decides, oh, today I'd like to change from running Windows to running all of my programs off Mac. That's not the drive. The drive is something else. The drive is someone convinced them that Mac is the solution to the problems that they're having with Windows. And so how do we uncover that? We need to figure out what's going on in their mind that tells them that this is the path that they need to follow. With what you're selling, you need to understand what brought them to the table because that's the thing that they're looking to get solved. They've come to you thinking that what you do is the solution to what they need. But unless you're asking questions to get clear there, you're going through the assumption phase of thinking, oh, I've talked to people who are similar to you, who have had similar issues, and I've helped them solve the issue that you're talking about. It's not really always the case. We're all different. The thing that I'm solving for you may be different than the next person. And if I go about my day defaulting into assuming that I know how to fix your problem and you don't articulate to me what your problem is, well, in the back of my mind, I know that the two easiest people to reject who are salespeople are first the kind person who doesn't push back, who is there to be an order taker. They're easy to reject because I'm not placing an order. And that's where the relationship started, and it's where I'm ending it. The other person is the know-it-all, the salesperson who said, "Oh yeah, I've got the thing for you," without getting a clear understanding of what I'm trying to do. And we've all been there. We've bought from those people, but we bought from them because it was a transactional commodity that we're trying to buy. If you're not selling a transactional commodity, if you are selling something relational and you are selling something that's a service, then it's in your best interest to create a relationship, not to autopilot into what you deliver in hopes that a relationship will appear out of the delivery of the thing that you do. So just be, and to get clear on what does that mean to you and your business is to look maybe at the last 4 or 5 people that you've sold to and look at the relationship that you've created there and ask the question, am I or ask the question, am I looking for trouble when I'm talking to this person? Am I going out of my way to probe in a way that's useful to them and to not let the assumptions slide and to go a little deeper to deepen the relationship so that they know that my intention not only is it to solve their issue, but it's to be there for them, not from above looking down on them saying, oh, that's hard. That looks like a difficult situation to be in, but next to them saying like, I think we can get through this. We're positioned right. We've done the right things. There are a couple things that we need to do. And the gap here is really something that you probably see in your onboarding process. Is your onboarding process a document checklist that you send to someone of what's going to be done and then you do it? Or that they need to do and then you wait to get it back from them and follow up when you don't get it? Or do you take them through it sequentially, one issue at a time? Understanding that solving one issue is going to take X amount of time and the next issue will take Y. And cumulatively, it will take the same amount of time, but we're doing it sequentially so that it's the least friction for both of us. And it creates the most meaningful feeling of change. Because the worst is having someone throw a deadline in front of you and saying, meet this, thank you. But that's us with Sandler training. The one takeaway I would suggest you remember this coming week is go looking for trouble in your sales calls. You aren't guaranteed a yes, but if you play it safe, the likelihood of them telling you to your face that it's a no lowers. If you're getting ghosted, There's a chance that it's because you're playing it too safe. And a salesperson who plays it safe and doesn't ask you hard questions is the type of person that you can say no behind their back, not to their face. So push back against that and ask a tough question or two next week. But that's us with Sandler Training. Thanks for your time today and good luck out there. Good selling.